We're now joined from our Pretoria studio by Tumelo Baloyi, who's an ICT security engineer. Tumelo, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program. I thought that WhatsApp was unhackable. What's happening?
Well, thank you for having me. Nothing is really unhackable. Everything is hackable because there's always a security vulnerability within these systems. But then in this instance, it was not even WhatsApp's fault. Instead, somebody used social engineering to take over numbers belonging to these SABC journalists, and that's how they were hacked. So it was essentially an attack on the service providers themselves to say, hi, I want to port my number, let's say, to another provider, from Telkom to MTN, from MTN to Vodacom. And that's how all the hack happened.
All right. It's interesting you say that, because this last weekend, I got a message from MTN trying to port my number from Vodacom. And I was just wondering what is happening, because I never spoke to anybody about this. And I guess this is the beginning of a hacking process.
Well, the tricks are, it's easy to do this type of attack, because essentially the questions they ask are all redundant across every single company. There's no two-factor authentication between the two service providers, because we have Rika in the middle, but then the two service providers just port each other, and there's no secure token that ensures that a person who legitimately owns that number has agreed for that number to be ported. So that lack of an authentication scheme is actually the one leading people to lose all their numbers, and some have even lost a lot of money due to this type of identity theft, because it's quite easy to even come up with the answers. For example, asking people what their last 3 recharges. An attacker, for instance, could recharge your phone in 3 consecutive days with the same amount, 50 Rand, 50 Rand, 50 Rand, and then use 3 SIM cards to call your phone three times also. So whenever the call center agent at any one of these companies asks, how many times have you recharged, and what's your amount, and how many times have you received calls, and what are your last 3 calls that you have received? All of these can be manufactured to seem like you are the one who's actually doing the SIM swap.
All right. So how do I protect myself? How do we protect ourselves from hacking? I mean, we can be put into WhatsApp groups and all sorts of things without permission, actually. And it seems to me that this is making us increasingly vulnerable, because in those groups, especially if they're large ones, your numbers are exposed to people far and wide.
So WhatsApp groups, there's no sure way of you actually protecting yourself from entering a group. But then your WhatsApp account, it has a two-step authentication scheme also. So you can create a PIN just by clicking on your settings, then clicking security, then you're going to see somewhere written 2-step authentication. Just enter your PIN there, so that even if somebody does a SIM swap on your SIM card, they don't actually have access to your WhatsApp. But here's the problem, is software is full of holes. So even though you have taken all the correct procedures to protect yourself against this type of hacking, there's sometimes a way to actually break into these apps. Like, for instance, last year, there was a case of WhatsApp being hacked by simply a call, even if you don't answer that call. How it happened is the secure stack on top of the RTCP. RTCP is the protocol they use to transfer packets in real time for voice calls. So the security mechanism that was stopping third parties from eavesdropping was actually used to execute what we call a buffer overflow attack, which now means it can execute arbitrary commands directly on your phone, so that it can install third-party apps that you don't know about and that have been designed to spy on you. So it's a number of ways that people need to really learn how security works. Yeah. Because now everything is online.
But where do we learn
this? So your browsers are insecure, your apps are insecure, and you need to update all the time.
So do your software updates, because that will come in with inbuilt security. But how do we educate ourselves? Is there a place we can go, a website, something that says, be careful of XYZ, do XYZ?
Okay, so there's internet governance framework in South Africa currently. So you can read up on it. There's a website, it's ZEDNA. So they have a lot of information in regards to cybersecurity and how to protect yourself. And also CSIR has released a lot of papers in regards to how you can protect yourself. So these two government entities can actually help you better prepare yourself for a connected future. Because now everything is connected. Even cell phones now, they just release a cell phone. The only features they'll tell you is the camera and the memory, but they won't tell you what's the update strategy. Will they release updates every 2 months? Will they release updates every 4 months? They don't tell you this. So when you buy a phone or when you buy anything that is connected to the internet, you need to make sure that the company behind it is reputable, has dedicated support staff for breaches, and can release patches almost immediately. Yeah. So that whenever something gets released that is designed to break into your system, it can be stopped before it does any more harm.
All right, Tumelo, we're going to have to leave it there for the time being, but I think we need to have this conversation with you once a month at least, just to chat through some of the new things that we need to be aware of and what we need to